So I've been contemplating wanting to create this video for a while now. It's been a while. I've had this idea for probably almost the majority of this year now because I've seen those videos in my recommended where you see Flow State or Nico upload a video about locking in or just taking a chill pill in life, be a chill guy. And with the Minecraft gameplay in the background, it's just for me, it's such a soothing vibe of video that I kind of want to get into. So I got that idea from them. But yeah, I mean, in my head before, I thought I could insert some Red Dead Redemption gameplay on there of just me hunting. But yeah, the point is, you just want to get your thoughts out there. I just want to get my thoughts out there with, less editing in the videos. Because the videos that I've been making so far were really effort intensive, if that's even a thing. Now, I don't have much subscribers or anything, but this isn't necessarily to share to thousands of people. I kind of just treat this as like a small piece of information in an otherwise indifferent world, because nobody really knows your story as much as you do, and in your life, you're the main character. Maybe treat this video as another perspective in the world of order and chaos, if you will. Which brings me to my point, right? So months ago, and I'm talking like months ago, like I think it was September during this year, 2024. I had a gig where I pick up people from the airport and I take them to a specific part in the city. So in a way, it's kind of like Uber, but with Uber, you know how you gotta book a ticket. You gotta book a ride or whatever, and they have to be close to you. People have to contact me ahead of time so that I can get ready for their schedule of when they wanted to be picked up from the airport. So, in this case, I had a gig where I have to pick up this person from the airport. No, it's not a person. It's two ladies, actually. And I gotta bring them back to my city because they have... there's like a bunch of tourist attractions in my area, in my place right now. And yeah, apparently... Yeah, they need a rider for... They need a rider. They need a driver to take them to those places. But what I'm basically getting into is, with respect to these people's time, you gotta be early. You kind of have to wake up at 3 a.m. Now, the journey from my place, I have to wake up at 3 a.m. because the airport is actually quite far from me. I have to wake up at 3 a.m. I've mentioned that 3 times now. That's to get there on time, because let's say they arrive at the airport at 6 a.m. and the drive it takes for me normally is only around 2 hours and 30 minutes, but I kind of want to take my time on the road. I kind of don't want to rush. That voice crack though. I kind of don't want to rush. So the journey is quite far. So in that drive, I started recording myself speaking to myself in that while I was driving, with the intent of making this video sooner. So by US standards, I live by the countryside. It's a rural area. Now, because it's a rural area in my country, which a lot of you probably know, I'm from the Philippines, and we're known as a third world country. It's a developing country, is what it's what we've been saying for years now. Now, with that fact in mind, you can understand that the roads aren't really in the best conditions. When I say not the best conditions, I don't mean like it's undrivable per se, but it kind of touches there because there's no street lights. And because there's no street lights, it's really creepy. And once you get to a certain point during the journey from here to the airport, there's a part in there where it's really foggy. Like the fog is extremely damn thick. So you can't even see the hood of your car. It's that thick. Now, with that in mind, there's a lot of dangers. So not only you can't speed up, you cannot speed up because if you do, you kind of don't know what's ahead of you. So for all you know, it might be either trees or you might be going off of a cliff. So if you go too slow, you're at the mercy of other cars behind you. Now, granted, it's 3 a.m. There's not much people out on the road, but there are cars, there are trailer trucks that are literally traveling during this time. That if you travel at a certain speed, a certain slow speed, and then you got these tons of metal barreling down behind you, and you're driving a sedan, you're basically screwed. So you can't slow down, and you can't speed up, you can't slow down. Because if you do slow down, man, it's kind of hard to explain it, but you could get mugged. There could be a motorcycle tailing you, and you know what? This level of overthinking is insane, actually, now that I think about it. Now that I put it into words, it's wild. But we did actually get reports of motorcycles pulling over cars here. You could get mugged, because if you go too slow, there might be a motorcycle behind you asking you to slow down or whatever. But yeah, those are the dangers of, being in this road. And so what would happen is I would go to the outer lane, because sometimes there's 4 lanes to on either sides. If I go to the outer lane, I'm literally at the mercy of the 4th lane, the outer lane ending. Because again, the roads aren't in the best condition, so for all you know, this part of the road might be under construction, and you can't really tell until you're at that part, because it's really foggy. Your fog lights can't do anything, and when you do high beam, you can't see. If you put your car lights on high beam, we call it high beam here, you can't see further. So you just gotta take your time, be slow, not too fast. At this point, I'm looking at my GPS, and in that GPS, it can't be that reliable, although you can use it as a guide to whether there's a curve right around, ahead. There's a corner that you need to turn. So at least you're not necessarily helpless. At least you have a vague idea that there's a turn. But during this time, your head, while you're looking at the GPS and focusing at the road at the same time, which you can't really see anything, bruh, your head tries to screw with you by imagining, conjuring up some images, some creepy ass tones, creepy ass images in your head just to frick with you. What I mean by that is, since you can't see the road, it's fog right in front of you, you can't see your hood. You could imagine an old woman jumping on your hood, because you're not really speeding, right? You're just slowing down enough that people can actually run up and catch up to you. People can open your doors, or take away the physical people part. If you're superstitious, you could be imagining, a lady in white dress not in front of your car. She could be right beside you on your passenger seat, or even at the rear. Bro, these are the type of things that I think about during this drive, which is a wild thing to do. I don't recommend it, because it screws with you. Now, once you get about 1 hour and 30 minutes into this journey, you finally get to the main city, and when you get to the main city, it's actually amazing. It gets to a point where you get to appreciate that after all of that life-threatening event that just happened in the past hour, you're finally in the city. You're seeing other cars on the road. You're seeing other people on the road, because at this point it's like 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. already, and a lot of people are already starting their day. Those early birds, bruh. The Filipino accent is getting to the surface. So with that said, the roads are quiet, and at this point, I'm really loving my Spotify playlist, because it's really calm, it's really chill. At some point, maybe it's kind of a bit melancholic, melancholy. Anyway, at this point, it's really calming, because what would normally be a busy road, a busy street, a busy highway with all the lights and everything is, at this moment in time, not busy at all. There's not much people on the road. It's just you. And so you see these lights in the middle, you see this islands and those lights. I don't know, man. For me, I just appreciate those things because they look incredibly magical for me. Some people might find it cringe. Whatever. At this point, there are people jogging. When you get to a certain area in the city, like maybe close to 7-Eleven, you see people getting their morning coffee. Some people are even jogging. So yeah, it was at this point where I started to record myself talking because I wanted to. It's basically a reminder to myself that I wanted to make this video, and so here it is. This is the first thing when I pressed record on my phone. This is what happened. Take that night drive. Oh shoot. Well, hey, that truck just run over the one of the, what do you call this? Traffic cones. Anyway, I'm in a much busier road now, but I started driving at 3 a.m. So normally, during 3 a.m., there's not much people on the road. So I suggest that if you have a car or if you have a motorcycle, some sort of vehicle where it's safe, right? I suggest you save up some money and take that night drive. Before the morning even starts, there's something so magical about lights early in the morning. The street lights, the islands in the middle of the road, and how they're just like they're giving off light, but there's not much people to see it. Alright, before I even get a little too symbolic in that recording, because it was 3 a.m., I don't know what I was thinking. I was just basically in awe of the city lights, the street lights, of how soothing it is, how amazing it is. It's the way the lights shine, the beauty of the night, but nobody's actually there to see it. I don't know if you heard me say it, but at the beginning of the recording, when I pressed record, a truck just run over the side of an area that's being constructed, a construction zone. A truck just ran over one of the traffic cones, and it was wild. That's why I laughed. But yeah, in that recording, I basically just wanted to put into words what I was thinking at that time. So with the scenario that I just put out to you, that I just said, where you're not really in a rush, maybe for you don't necessarily have a destination in mind. I urge you, I mean not urge, I suggest you take on that drive. Take your time to drive too. Not too slow, not too fast. It depends on you. But I mean, I guess a lot of people are, especially with bikers, they get a lot more enjoyment out of the ride, out of the drive when they go, I don't know, like 160 kilometers per hour. Is wild. They're fast boys. It's different for everyone, but I suggest you take a safe drive to clear your head. It's actually amazing how therapeutic it is. But yeah, be sure to obey traffic regulations, of course, but basically what I'm getting to in this video is take this time while you're driving not to worry about anything. For some people, that's kind of hard because, some people live such tragic, such hard lives, whether that's, maybe school is a little too hard, maybe, there are some subjects that they're struggling with, whether that could be at home, basically, maybe your parents, your siblings, maybe family is a little too toxic. Or maybe at work, maybe there's too much to do at work. Maybe those kinds of things, one way or another, we're struggling with something in life. But for me, taking a drive, it actually allowed me to not worry about anything. While you're driving, you're kind of in the moment. You're kind of thinking about how. That's why I was describing the roads that I was on earlier, because you can't really think about anything else. I mean, you definitely can, but if you're faced with beauty right in front of you, it's amazing that you can't really think about a lot of things. I mean, it's really easy for us to think of all the ways life has wronged us. Situations different for everyone. But as I've said in that recording, there's a lot more parts in that recording, but I just chose to cut it out because the audio is really trash. But take that time to relax. Be thankful that you're breathing, or maybe even that you're on the road right now, able enough to drive. Now, even if you're living a relatively good life, where there's not really much problems, you know who you are, you know the problems that you're dealing with, they're not really that hard. So, when you do drive, though, given of course you have the necessary papers and credentials to have a safe drive with your vehicle, whatever it is, get a good night's rest. Sleep early. I don't know, create a driving playlist maybe on Spotify or whatever it is that you're using. Gas up your vehicle or your bike or your car or whatever. Now you can either plan your route, like maybe a general location, or you can just drive wherever the road takes you. Maybe you'll come across a coffee shop. In my area there are a lot of coffee shops. Maybe there are places that you can eat food or anywhere. Like maybe there are local businesses in your area that you didn't even find out. Maybe this is a chance for you to find a hidden jewel, a hidden gem in your place, a place that you didn't even know exists. Maybe it's a nice view. Maybe it's a nice bench. Maybe it's a nice attraction right there on the road. Be safe though. It's early in the morning. There's a lot of stuff that happens. Be safe. That way, maybe there's a way for you to finally wind down, to, take a chill pill, be a chill guy. So yeah,